Guys, ladies, I have terrible news. So, the last episode of My Love Story, or Ori Monogatari, the very last episode, it's not going to be airing next week, like next Wednesday. Rather, it's going to skip that week and then air the week after. So, we're going to have to wait an extra week to get, our ending to season 1, or, to this arc or to this anime, because there hasn't been like confirmation for a second season, but like I said in my last review, there's a live action movie coming out, so maybe that shows how popular it is. I don't really know, because there's no I haven't I haven't seen sales numbers for the Blu-ray and DVDs for My Love Story. Now I'm gonna try to be optimistic here and tell it's a good thing, because that means we get to stay with My Love Story a little bit longer. But it's also a bad thing, because now the way we ended this episode, we have to wait an extra week, to get the conclusion to that. So with this episode of My Love Story, actually screw it, let's just get straight to the point, where that freaking the pastry dude, he's an asshole, he is a douchebag, he is a douche nozzle. Trying to think of more derogatory terms to call him. I can't think of anything else, but you get the point. He's just a dick. He's a tool. And he's like if you took Suna and like did the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z with one of the douchebag characters from Food Wars, and then stick him in Food Wars. Basically, that's the character. Now, the thing is, I feel like his relationship with Yamato doesn't. It's not okay, because no matter where you are, there's so many different laws and rules on like the age of consent and all of this, nonsense. But the dude's 21, and if I remember correctly, Yamato's like 16, around that ballpark. She's in her teens. That's gross, man. Like, I'm 19, and like just like imagining the fact that I'm going out with like a freshman in high school is like would be like really weird, and I just wouldn't, like, me personally, I just wouldn't feel comfortable. Now, like, let's say if they were older, like he was like 30 something, and then like Yamato was like 26, that would be okay. But where they are now, it just doesn't make sense. Not only that, he also has the balls to go up to Yamato's boyfriend Takeo and be like, break up with Yamato because you're unfit to date her. And it's like, that's like the most douchebaggy thing you can ever do. And the thing is, he's not even in the right to say that, because one, he's only known Yamato for a week, and he's going off the basis like, yes, they both like to bake and make cakes and all this like nonsense, and that like, and he believes that that's like one thing that they have in common that will make them a perfect fit. But the thing about relationships is that it's great to have something in common with your significant other, whoever, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever that person is to you. It's a good thing to have, like, that one thing in common, but it's also a good thing to have different things in common and sharing those with them. Now, you don't have that other person, your significant other doesn't essentially have to like it, but to a point where they understand it, it's still great. Because if you look at Yamato's and Takeo's relationship, and I also realized that I've been calling them by their last name since like I started reviewing this show, and it's just easier for me. Anyway, regardless, the relationship between Yamato and Takeo is like Yamato likes baking, and then Takeo eats it because he understands that Yamato has spent time on this, and he enjoys it himself, and it's just it's like a formula. Now let's say hypothetically that the baker dude and Yamato get together, like it's to the extent of the relationship I feel like we'll go to is like he makes a new cake, she tries it, she sews it, bada bing, bada boom, that's it. Like, there's no like satisfaction to doing that, or at least like seeing that, where Takeo, he he doesn't know much about pastry, so when he tries something new, it's like, holy crap, it's like a foodgasm in my mouth. But this isn't Food War, so my clothes isn't ripping off, or I'm like having an imagination where I'm naked, being like and honey dripping down on me. And thing is, the baker dude wasn't the only one in the wrong in this episode. So was Takeo to an extent. And I'm just gonna play devil's advocate, where Takeo, his relationship with Yamato is probably like one of the strongest and cutest ones I have seen within like anime entirely, because they actually truly like each other, and it's not some stupid plot where it's like the daughter of like a member of like the Yakuza or something like that, and they have to hook up something like that, something like Nisekoi, or something stupid where there's like a succubus contract between her and like Takio. It's something ridiculous. No, it's actually they truly genuinely love each other because of X events. At the very beginning of the series. Now, thing is that Takio he has this pre-notion thought that Yamato working there might not be the best thing, because what if she falls in love with another dude and stuff like that, and he just has like all these prejudgments of like Yamato herself. And basically what I'm trying to get at is that, remember a few episodes ago where Yamato was having like bad ideas, like what if other girls fell in love with Takio and Takio like fell in love with them, and he would have to dump Yamato and all of that whatnot. It's basically like the reverse in this episode. And I'm not saying it's horrible to have these thoughts about your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or whatever. What I'm trying to get is that obviously Yamato and Takio both believe, or at least Takio now in this episode, we see that he doesn't, to an extent, he doesn't truly believe like his relationship with Yamato isn't the strongest because they don't have that thing in common. It's like how I said earlier that when it comes to relationship, yes, it is a good thing to have at least like one thing in common, because that's a good foundation for any relationship. But as your relationship expands on, you don't want to keep on sharing the same thing. You want to help the other, your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, to experience new things with your activities, and vice versa. Because if you like have all these things in common, it's the relationship. I feel like honestly, it's not gonna last as long as someone as like a couple trying to do new things constantly, because they both have separate interests. For example, Takio does wrestling or whatever he did a few episodes ago, and Yamato does baking. They help each other out by supporting one another. And just to wrap up this like little segment or whatever this is, like I said before, like what My Love Story does best is like it handles the romance of the show in probably the best and mature aspect it can. Because like if you just think about it, like looking back at all the other episodes, whenever like Takio has like a monologue where like he's thinking inside his head, it's probably the most mature thoughts that I've seen in a romance anime, because he just he thinks like all of these things that people actually think about. It's nothing like anime like. It's like, oh, it's something of X, Y, and Z because boobs and fan service and clothes ripping. And I makes an appearance this episode as well, and remember she's probably my favorite female character. But she makes she makes a statement about Takio's character, and it's that Takio, no matter what, he always put others people feelings in front of his, so that way they can be happy. And this goes to the extent if Yamato's happy with the baker dude, he's gonna break up with her so that way she can be happy, and even though it's gonna probably destroy him on the inside. And the first thing that came to mind as soon as I read that subtitle is that Robin Williams quote where I'm gonna look away from you guys and look at my computer, because I want to say this quote word by word, because I just feel like this affects Takio's character to a certain extent, and I'm going to explain why to an extent and not like fully. And if you never heard the quote, it goes like this: I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy because they know what it's like to feel absolutely worthless, and they don't want anyone else to feel like that. And what I mean by this quote hitting Takio's character, to an extent and not fully, is that Takio, we know him, and he's not like the saddest person. He's not like the emo or anything like that. He's a pretty happy dude, but when it comes to love and all that, he's been pretty down because everyone likes Suna and not him, like all these girl wise. And something I just kind of thought of right now is that maybe Takio wants other people to be happy, whether it be like Yamato going into a relationship with the baker dude, is that way she can be happy and not be alone, because Takio, he has Suna, and that's essentially all he needs, because that's his best bud, and Takio's used to being alone, so it's okay. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on Takio's character, because I mentioned it. I thought it was really both sad and cool on how Takio sees things and how he deals with things. But moving on, I honestly thought there was this very funny moment that it was just so funny, because it's when Takio and Suna go into the bakery, and they order cakes, and Suna notices the baker guy, and I feel like it's a really meta joke where he he sees like the meta guy's like eyes and where they're staring at, and you just see Suna just following the line. I just thought it was hilarious because remember, Suna's the best bro ever. He maybe won't find love by the end of this story, but he's just honestly my favorite character. But yeah, the episode ends on a cliffhanger where we see Takeo, he's standing in the rain watching, like, just witnessing, Yamato and the baker guy's car as they drive away because he was going to go hand deliver an umbrella to her. And yeah, that's that's where it really evolved. And we have to wait 2 weeks to get the conclusion to that scene and, conclusion to My Love Story Season 1. And hopefully there's a Season 2. I don't know how far or how much the anime has caught up to the manga. I'm pretty sure the manga is still ongoing, so there's that. But another thing as well is that I don't know how popular My Love Story is, because everyone in Japan, I feel like, loves, those ecchi harem shows like Monster Musume or Monster Girl in English. Everyone loves that, but, no one watches, like, the good stuff. That's in my opinion the good stuff, where it's like My Love Story, Charlotte, stuff like that. Anyway, I enjoyed this episode a lot. I just enjoy how My Love Story always delves into new topics of romance and relationships every in most of the episodes, and it's just fantastic. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours down in the comments below, and if you want to talk about relationship stuff, go ahead. But no one comments on these. And it's kind of sad. I don't even know if you guys get to this point, to be honest. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this review. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all next time, or in 2 weeks if you just watch me for My Love Story. But if you watch me for the other anime, I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, bye bye.